have Mr. Senthilnathan. He is the Chairman and Managing Director of Nataraj Oilmills Pvt Ltd, located in Tamil Nadu. Before we begin to have a wonderful talk with him, let us understand Nataraj Oilmills Pvt Ltd, they have a leading brand called Anjali. In Tamil Nadu, no family will say, I have not seen Anjali Nallennai. Entire family, if you see, out of their list of household items, Anjali Nallennai takes place. Please explain us the journey of Nataraj Oilmills Pvt Ltd, when it started, and what are your product portfolios and so on.
For generations we are into this industry. We incorporated as company in 1992. 92-93 we incorporated. We initially were milling only sesame oil. So now we are milling sesame oil, groundnut oil, and we do sunflower, and even we do palm oil also. We do import and we do distribute in India, and we are into pulses milling also.
Is it like a toll processing or split and sell in retail?
Yes, split and sell. We are our registered office and factories at Madurai. I'm into this industry for nearly more than 30 years. So our major brand name is Anjali, and our bread and butter and everything is we major focus on sesame oil.
Where do you source your raw material and how you are balancing the quality of the final product?
Fantastic question. We actually procure from across various states in India. We don't very strict into the color of a sesame seed. We majorly focus on the free fatty acid FFA, and we main focus on color and aroma of the oil. So aroma is much important, and the color we maintain what we don't prefer the darker colors. We'll try to have the colors somewhere around 10, 11 or something below that 9.
So is it a measurement, sir, for color?
Yes, we can measure. We can measure in as a laboratory. We have our own in-house laboratory. We do all the analysis batch by batches. We have the tracking facility from the raw material to our finished product within our work unit. Wow. So each and every batches what we produce and we distribute, we have the track record from which batch we processed.
For even a single pack, you will know which batch it is being processed and when all those details.
Yes.
So good tracing mechanism it is.
Yeah, we are following that system. From the truck, the raw material seeds when it enters into the factory, the sampling and the process tracking starts from there.
I would like to know what is the difference between this cold pressed oil and what is this traditionally grounded oil, and how treatment can influence the quality of the oil content.
Sesame oil is one of the oldest oil which is known by the mankind. We usually say in a funny tone that ask dinosaurs. This is the oldest oil known by the mankind. We found that there is the traceabilities of sesame for most of the civilizations, but it is used for medicinal values. From my childhood, I was seeing this processing of milling of sesame seeds. So initially, we saw kani. We call it as a check. What is in kani? Yes. In Hindi, we call it as kani.
Which
bullock carts rotates. That is called it is made in wood, and some places it is made in stone. This type of process slowly comes to end because of the handling the wood is very difficult actually. We had such type of kanis in the early old stages.
Why is it difficult, sir, to handle wood?
Because we don't have such type of huge carpenters for handling this wood. One kani will take place of 5 to 6 cents land it means, and somewhere 2,400 to 3,000 square feet land requires for one kani. This productivity of this is also less than 2 bags per day. And also for one kani we need a pair of minimum 8 bullock carts. 8 bulls at least we need. We didn't feel comfortable of handling these bulls, and we felt very difficult in handling the wood. This is the problem, and of lately we found that wood usually it consumes oil. When it consumes oil, the contamination of oil is much higher because of the moisture added to the wood. Second, what's the problem is the termites problem with the wood, and then in some winter seasons we may have poisonous mushrooms coming from the wood. It is not a hygienic practice, and half lately we started avoiding it, and volume based also we cannot scale up the industry. Whereas in stone the same problem is also there. It is not a hygienic method, we felt. We slowly came into the small kanis made out of cast irons. That is, we normally called in domestic market in India, it is a rotary. These machines produce something faster and better quality it brings up. But even this machine we cannot scale up a long way. Okay. So, and the expellers also being used for milling. This is the process of the traditional way what we do it in India. But and before this crushing process, we have to go through the entire cleaning process also. Why we are avoiding this small carnies like wood or stone car? Because while crushing, the people are adding some water inside. Adding water is no way justified the quality standards.
Heat treatment on oil, how it is getting impacted?
Whereas in cold press, though we call it as cold press, whatever we do in pressing, some heat energy will generate due to friction. This normally it comes. Even if you pump your cycle for air with the hand pump, obviously you will get some subtle heat will be generated. When you rub two hands, automatically your heat will generate
due to friction.
As like that, when we mill the seeds, when you will crush, some heat will be generated. That heat will be hardly somewhere around as coffee as temperature 550 degrees centigrade. So now our room temperature will be somewhere 40 that 35 to 40 degrees centigrade is our room temperature.
Yes.
Whereas this will be somewhere around 50 degree. That's it. Okay. This is no way going to impact the nutritional value of the oil.
So there is a certain point. After that, it may be. But what is the point level, sir?
That is, we call it a smoking point.
Smoking point. Okay.
So as like water, we call it as boiling point. In oil, we call it a smoking point. Okay. So unless and until the oil goes to that place, there is no point of thinking about the nutritional damage.
The domestic supply, do you also export to?
Yes, globally we place from many countries actually, and our major contributions goes to United States. We have an FDA license there, and we regularly supply there. Wow. And we have a good marketplace also.
Please tell us what are the other products you have.
We do coconut oil, groundnut oil, and we import sunflower crude oil from Ukraine and Russia and even Argentina.
Oh, directly you import?
Directly we import, and we do the refinery process at Chennai, and we do packing and we distribute it. Regularly we do it. After the geological tension, we reduced our volume in sunflower because our major buying portion comes from Ukraine.
How is the interactions or relationship between Russia? Is it all fine?
It's already fine. It's not a problem. Say even before the conflict, we don't directly deal with the Russians. Okay. So mostly the transaction is routed through Europeans.
In website I saw pulses, spices and so on. I'd like to know that.
So we have pulses milling also. Okay. So we are doing tur dal, moong dal, and we do black gram bits. So this is also we are doing it actually.
Spices also, sir?
Spices are not much interested, but mostly in pulses.
When it comes to the sesame oil, what do you see, sir? The consumption, how it is happening, sesame oil? What do you opinion on that?
India is mostly dependent on edible oil. India is nearly 70% of its total consumption is India. We are dependent on overseas. And the major oil we are importing in India is soybean oil, sunflower oil and palm oil. Whereas sesame oil, I don't find it is not recognized by this oil seeds market. There is nowhere it is recognized, and now there is no vision for that also.
Is it because of the volume?
Not because of volume. I don't know. Initially, the sesame oil's major consumptions comes from the South India. Yeah. Though it is being consumed for almost all the part of India, but the quantum is very less when compared to the South India to north and eastern part of India. Whereas in global market, we see that almost all the countries are consuming sesame oil, from Japan to US.
South Korea.
Yeah.
China, it comes.
So, the oil format what we produce is cold pressed sesame oil in India. From China to Japan, all the Asian countries are consuming sesame oil, but the oil is called as roasted sesame oil.
So raw material will be after pre-cleaning, it will be roasted, then it converted.
Then it is crushed.
Wouldn't it get the taste or the weight? Would get
everything getting changed there. The oil will have a roasted aroma flavor you will get from there. Okay. Whereas our oil we produce here we have a golden yellow color. Yeah. That oil will have a dark brownish color.
Especially in South Korea and Japan, they crush white sesame oil, not black sesame oil.
That is a dehulled. That is dehulled. Hulled seeds.
Okay. Hulled seeds?
Hulled seeds.
It is been processed for oil.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
It is not white.
You are actually telling about no clear focus on sesame. So what
we need to have a special vision for exclusively for edible oil. Not only sesame, almost all the edible oil we as a government should have a special long-term vision. We need it. I'll take this opportunity to say this. Yes. So as we need a sesame federation. We need it sesame exclusively for sesame. or at least we should be name it a Sesame board or Sesame federation, and we should merely focus on the development of the Sesame seeds quality and the awareness program for the Sesame oil consumption, and this we have to bring it up. So the per capita yield of Sesame seeds per hectare is comparatively extremely low when you compare with the other edible oil seeds.
That is true.
So we had to focus there. So we have to build up the quality, build up the volume based.
High yielding varieties.
High yield varieties we have. We need some R&D team to involve there. Unless scientific approach, we cannot do greater in agriculture of sesame seeds. I don't think we depend on government. At least as an organization, we as a producers and millers and traders, we should have it. We cannot expect the policies from the government. We have to ask the policy for the government.
I really enjoyed talking to you. So many valuable information you shared. So thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you very much.